Hi everyone, I'm going to show you how to make a pine syrup from spring pine cones, like this one. The syrup is very sweet and has a strong pine flavour, and it's delicious in tea and makes things taste a bit like Christmas. You can find pine trees in lots of places. This is a Scots pine growing on Hampstead Heath, and at this time of year a lot is going on. This tree has both male and female flowers and tiny pine cones. The male flowers look like racemes of little pine cones, but are actually full of pollen. Pine trees are wind pollinated, and the pollen is so light it can be carried a good few kilometers on the wind. The female flowers look like red spiky balls at the top of the young shoots, and they mature later than the male flowers, so the tree doesn't self-pollinate. In a few weeks, the female flower will look like this. Pine cones form from the female flower, and these small green pine cones are the result of last year's pollination. It takes 2 years for the seeds to mature in the cones. I'm going to pick some of these green pine cones, but remember the golden rules of foraging. Take only a few of whatever part you are picking. In this case, take only a few cones and leave the rest to serve their real purpose. That's reproduction, or their secondary purpose, food for animals. Second, don't pick things you are unsure of. Make sure you recognize the tree and the part of the tree you want to pick. Third, don't collect the cones or any other part of the plant in a polluted area, as these are likely to be contaminated. I've collected only a few small green pine cones in my broken frisbee, maybe about 20, and I'm going to take them home and make pine syrup. Now for the method. Wash your pine cones and remove any longer stalks, then once washed, put them in a clean jar. Take your preferred sugar. Here I've got the leftover of some cane sugar and some white beet sugar. Cover the pine cones with the sugar and shake them about. Then put them away to stand for anything between 48 hours to a week or two. 48 hours later, I'm checking on my pine cones, and as you can see, they've slightly dissolved the sugar. It looks moist, so I'm going to shake them about a bit and leave them for a few more days. 6 days later, you can see the sugar is more dissolved and the mixture already looks slightly syrupy. I'm moving the mixture into a pan and cleaning out the jar with a cup of water. Then I'm going to simmer the sugary pines on a low heat until the color and consistency changes. On a low heat, the syrup should take about 20 to 30 minutes to caramelize, and as it simmers, the pine smell will become stronger. Once the syrup is golden and I think it looks ready, I'll move a small amount to this little plate, and as it cools I can see the consistency. It's already thick enough for a pancake syrup. So I've turned the gas off and I'm going to pour my syrup into clean jars. I'm pouring really slowly, otherwise the jars might break from the heat. I always prefer to use small jars, as then I can have one for me and one for a present, and I like to keep the pine cones in for decoration, but you can take them out if you like. Now I'm closing them while the syrup is hot, that's why I have to use a kitchen towel. As the syrup cools, the hot air that expanded compresses and creates a vacuum, the same principle as with jam making, so this will keep for ages. When the syrup cools, the lid should cave in and won't click. The color of the syrup will depend on how long you've simmered it. Here's one I made last year, and as you can see, it's quite dark and thick. The last thing is labeling. Here I've written the year and what it is, but sometimes I also write where I foraged and the exact ingredients. Try the syrup with tea or on pancakes and let me know what you think. I hope you enjoyed foraging and making the syrup. See you soon!